Good evening, future techies. My name is Tony Munguia, and I want to welcome you to our second Polytechnic Admitted Student Broadcast. We will be covering topics related to the Polytechnic Institute at Purdue University, and tonight's broadcast will focus on the students' experience in the Polytechnic. We'll focus on student life, academics, and getting involved on campus. Plus, if you have any last-minute questions about Purdue, we would love to have those questions as well. Okay, I'm joined by our student panelists who will introduce themselves in a minute. But first, just a couple of logistical aspects for the broadcast. We will cover a variety of topics that we have established, but we would also love to hear from you and what questions you have. So what I'm saying is, please bring the questions on, okay? You can submit these questions through the chat function of the YouTube Live. In order to do this, you have to create an account. Once you've created the account, you can submit questions in the chat window. We will monitor those questions and respond in the chat when we can. But some of those questions will also be shared with me to discuss with the panel. We will do our very best to answer every question, either in the chat function or during our panel discussion. You can also email questions to us to respond at a later date, and that email is techrecruit@purdue.edu. That's techrecruit@purdue.edu. Our staff will work to respond to those as quickly as we can. And so with that, I'll have our panelists introduce themselves, and we'll get to our topics.
So hi, I'm Brian Tedeschi. I am a senior studying mechanical engineering technology, and I am from Plainfield, Illinois.
Hello everybody, I'm Erin Cook. I'm a freshman here, and I'm majoring in animation and web development. I'm from Orland Park, Illinois.
And hi, I'm Maddox Williams. I'm a freshman here at Purdue University, and I'm dual majoring in cybersecurity and network engineering.
Okay. Where are you from?
Oh, sorry. I'm from Evansville, Indiana.
Okay. All right, so the very first question for our panelists, how did you find out about the Polytechnic and your major, and why did you end up choosing the Polytechnic?
So I guess I can say, I figured out about the Polytechnic while I was here at Purdue. So I chose to switch majors from first year engineering into the mechanical engineering technology program. And I can say really the reason why I switched is because of the hands-on learning environment, especially that's kind of how I learn the best, and I feel that the program was definitely a better fit for me.
I think I found Purdue and the Polytechnic in a less conventional way. I had a very specific major in mind. I wanted to do animation, and not many schools have that, so I literally Googled animation major, and Purdue Polytechnic popped up in Google. And so I explored it, and I was like, hey, this is really cool. It's not far from home. And I went to a whole bunch of tours, and I came on campus, and I was like, I really like it here. Every time I'm here, I'm happy. So I guess I'm just going to stay here. Hopefully I stay happy.
And then I kind of had a long journey in high school. My freshman year, I wanted to be a lawyer. And then my sophomore year, I wanted to be an ophthalmologist. My junior year, I thought about going into dentistry. And then senior year, I kind of wanted to be a surgeon, so I didn't know if I wanted to go to medical school or not. And then I got to Purdue, and then I took a tour at Conoy, and I got to see what Polytechnic was all about, and I finally decided, I was a big computer guy in high school, so I finally decided that I wanted to do something with computers. And then I saw that they were doing specialized tours in cybersecurity, and I looked at that, and I absolutely fell in love with it. And then at the end of my first semester this year, I decided to dual major in network engineering. So, yeah.
Okay, very good. So what are your classes and labs like? Tell us a little bit about that. Tell us about some faculty that you have connected with, and are your professors approachable? Are they people that you can talk to and that you like to be around, and any research maybe that you've done?
So I love the faculty and love the labs and kind of love everything about the classes I take. So a little bit about the labs and classes. They're very hands-on. Each class you'll walk through and you'll have a lab and you'll have a project that you'll work on. So kind of at the end of each class you'll have one of those kind of like a mini design project that kind of takes everything you've learned from that class and applies it to one big project. One really fun one that I can say it was a dynamics class taught by Professor Mark French here. He's a really good professor. You had to make a catapult. There was no rules. The only thing was it had to be safe and it had to shoot a tennis ball. So it kind of took everything from the MET classes, kind of learning like the material science side, and also kind of the physics and like dynamics side of it too, to obviously get the ball to shoot as far as you can. And that kind of segues into like the professors. They're all really awesome. They're all really approachable, and they have a lot of experiences that they bring to the table. I personally work as an undergraduate TA for another professor, Professor Paul McPherson, and I can say that he's really great. Professor French is really great, and I really have nothing bad to say about any of the professors in the department. So I really say it's a really good experience overall as classes.
I think that the professors and I enjoy the labs a lot because the professors are just as into what they're teaching as you are about learning it. Like, my first lab was last semester, and it was CGT 118. It was basically just, like, learning computer graphics, like, and Illustrator and Photoshop. And my professor he would sometimes just, like, post his screen, like, on the board, and you could see him working on art, and you could look up and see him working on something, like, amazing. You're just looking down at, like, your ball that, like, you just took 30 minutes to draw, and, like, it's kind of bad, but you look up at him, and you're just like, man, he's really good. I want to be like him, and I know that he's really good, and I know that he's really cool, and I know he's willing to help me. And so that's kind of the atmosphere for all labs that I've encountered, so that's why I really like them.
First and foremost, I would say that all of your Purdue professors that you're going to have, they're all there to help you and guide you to success in their classes. And they all really make sure you learn something. One of my favorite professors, shout out to Professor Barlow, he was my CNIT 180 professor last semester, and that has been my favorite class. It was just an awesome experience. The labs were very hands-on. We did SQL, we did QBE, which is query by example. We did database diagrams. It was a very fun lab, and I learned lots from it. And I got to develop a really good relationship with him because he was the leader of our learning community. And I'll also get to study abroad with him this semester, which is just awesome. So all the Purdue professors are great.
Yep.
Any of you had any opportunity to do research yet? Done any research? Okay, very good. All right, so tell us about the process for meeting with your academic advisor and registering for classes. I know that's something that you do every semester. Have you had any issues registering for classes that you maybe wanted? Tell us a little bit about the STAR process as well.
So a little bit, I can speak a little bit more with the registering, kind of like since I've done it a couple times now. So basically, you'll meet with your academic advisor. You set up an appointment with her using kind of Purdue's scheduling system. So you set up an appointment with her, and you come in for about a half hour. She kind of looks over. My advisor, Tammy Lynch, one of really great School of Engineering Technology advisor. She will look over my plan of study and kind of see how I'm doing, what classes I need to take in the future, and kind of we sit down and kind of have like a one-on-one about how she thinks I'm doing and how I think I should move forward, what her recommendations are, kind of what she's heard for some of the classes, and we kind of both kind of conjoin our ideas and make the best possible schedule for me. And then to register for classes, after your appointment, you get a PIN number, and there's a certain time and date that your PIN number will go active, and you use a software called Scheduling Assistant, which blocks off certain times, and you can put all your classes in almost like a time block format. And then once you do that, you can go ahead and click sign up, and it submits your classes for the next semester.
Personally, I find like the scheduling process to be intimidating at first, but once you figure it out, it makes a lot of sense, and like you'll be a pro after like one semester. I think the only thing that I've run into sometimes is like personally I'm in the marching band, so like in the fall seasons it gets a little rough trying to like schedule classes around, and like you'll need to have like overrides in the system and things, but that's something that you can quickly talk to your advisors about, and they'll be able to help you out and navigate how to go through those.
Yeah. One thing I struggled with at the beginning when I registered for second semester was getting in the classes I needed to be in. And I remember I had the last time to sign up for classes, and I was in my car on the way home registering for classes, and I'm like, oh crud, I didn't get into 3 of my classes, and I'm freaking out. I'm calling my mom. What should I do? And I emailed my academic advisor, Angie Murphy, and everything was okay. And basically, that's going to be a thing you're going to run into, and your academic advisors will help you through it all the way, and you'll get in your classes. So.
Okay, very good. We'll take one more question that I have, and then we're going to go to the monitor because there's a couple of questions that are on here as well. Did you have any credit transfers to Purdue, like any AP or dual credit? Or did you test out of any courses, and how did that work?
So when I came to Purdue in the fall of 2014, I had a dual credit English class from community college by me. So kind of the process works is just like, especially I sent the transcript from the community college because it was taken concurrently while I was in high school. Sent it over to Purdue, and the credit transferred no problem. And then also testing out of classes, during your STAR date, you can actually do a foreign language test out. So I tested out of Spanish, and I did the foreign language test out at STAR, which was a really easy process. You went in, you sat down at a computer, you took the test, and then at the end it told you results and how many credits you got from doing the test out.
I'd say do take AP credits do take AP classes because I took, I want to say 11 AP classes over my high school career, and I took tests for about 7 of them. I ended up getting a good 30 credits of college, done before I even got here. I was a third of the way done in the system before I even stepped foot on campus officially. So now, I have a lot of, I had all my humanities done when I came in, and it opened me up to be able to do 3 majors and a minor in 4 years. So I would highly, highly recommend take as many AP classes as you possibly can and just take those tests because Purdue is really good about accepting credits from basically all the classes except for maths. Maths you have to get high scores, but that's basically anywhere. But yeah, just do it. It's a great thing.
As far as AP goes, as a personal recommendation, for math specifically, Purdue does their math very differently from high school. The exams are only 12 questions and they're worth 100 points. So if you get AP credit for Calc 1 or if you get AP credit for Calc 2 and you need Calc 3 or Calc 2, I would probably recommend taking the math class before just to get used to how Purdue does their exams, how Purdue does their homework, their math homework. And then as far as transferring credits, Purdue makes that very easy. You just let your advisor know that you're going to be transferring over some credits from another university or from AP, and you fill out a form and it gets sent over, and bada boom, you're done. And it's very easy. Academic advisors are great at Purdue.
Okay, so let's go to the screen. Dave Story asks, are there any opportunities to intern co-op with maybe federal agencies in the cybersecurity field, such as the NSA, FBI, the local government, and so forth?
That's interesting that you brought that up. What's it, David?
David Story, or
Okay.
Davo Story.
Okay, Davos Story. Okay, well, great question. I'm actually getting an interview. That's all I can say about that with an agency. That's all I can disclose about it, but there are lots of opportunities for you to get involved with a federal internship or a federal job within the cybersecurity agency. There's lots of job openings for that sort of thing. What you have to be careful, though, is when you apply, because when you apply, let's say the NSA or FBI or CIA, you're going to need to apply for a security clearance, because when you work for these people, you operate at one of the highest security clearances possible, because you're going to be handling data from all over the place. And those security clearances can take up to a year. And then they'll have you do several different other things. So if you're looking for an internship or a career at a federal level, then just be aware of those things and look what they are asking for. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And also, the NSA, the CIA, I don't think the FBI came, but they usually come to the career fairs, and that's a really good opportunity for you to network with them. It's a really good opportunity for you to get some more information on maybe an internship you're looking for or what they're offering, and then that's just another foot in the door. So Purdue does several career fairs. The big one we do is the round table at the beginning of the year. It's huge. And then if you're a computing-based major through Polytech or your computer science, the College of Science, AITP does a career fair, and that's also pretty big too. And those federal agencies will come and try to recruit Purdue students. So.
I just want to mention really quickly that internships and real-world experiences are part of the requirement for the Polytechnic. All our students have to have one of those types of experiences, and so we have job fairs starting as freshmen all throughout the year. We have a great CCO that does this as well, and it's great for graduation and it's great for your resume at graduation. Anybody else want to talk about internships? Because I think both of you have done or have internships. So yeah.
For this upcoming summer, I actually just signed for an internship to go to Milwaukee, Wisconsin with Bommarito Recreational Products. So I'll be interning up there, and I'm doing supplier quality. So it's something I'm really interested in. It was an opportunity I actually got through the Center for Career Opportunities, the CCO, here on campus. They're really great, and I also heard about them and heard of other opportunities through the Purdue Polytechnic Career Fair, because the Polytechnic, the CCO, they do a really great job of especially getting you the opportunities and doing anything possible, from lending you clothes for interviews to doing mock interviews to helping refine your resume. So we have a really, really strong presence here on campus to help you get a job.
Yeah, I also have an internship over this upcoming summer at a company called SDI Innovations. They basically make a lot of date books and agendas for Purdue and a lot of surrounding high schools and things. So it's a very good opportunity, and it's very possible for freshmen to get internships, and also for computer graphics majors to get internships, because it's slightly unspoken that there's just not that many for computer graphics people, but if you look hard enough, there are plenty. You just have to go out and get them yourself.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Another question. Roy Sue asks, hi, could Brian explain the differences between mechanical engineering and mechanical engineering technology, and what were some struggles or changes he faced when he switched majors?
So, hello. So I can kind of talk a little bit so I'll kind of start with the struggles first. So when I kind of switched over, I can say one of the biggest struggles was just trying to find a fit within the Polytechnic, because I came from kind of not with the kind of going to the hands-on side. So I was definitely a little apprehensive about, especially like I said, switching into it. It was kind of starting over as a freshman, being a sophomore. So it was that was kind of the biggest struggle. But kind of moving to your other question, talking about the kind of the differences between the two. So I can really kind of speak for us a little bit more what we do. So kind of with the more mechanical engineering technology, everything's very hands-on. So you have, like I said, you have a lot of labs, a lot of projects, and a lot of basically real-world experience you get with industry-grade equipment. So when you choose to move into an internship or move into a full-time position, from day one, you can step right out into whatever you're doing, whether it's manufacturing or design, and be hands-on on a potentially a multi-million-dollar project from day one. So I can really, basically, like I said, I could really speak for more of this side, because when I was in the engineering program, I was in first-year engineering, which is basically getting you that foundation before you transition to the mechanical engineering. So you get a little bit more in that. You get a little bit more of the theoretical kind of design side, where I can say us as Polytech, we're a little bit more of the implementation side.
Okay, thank you. Let's go back to the questions that we had prepared. What are some student organizations within the Purdue Polytechnic with which you have been involved, and or maybe other Purdue organizations, because I know you mentioned something about being in the band, and then what are some of the activities you were able to participate in, and maybe even some leadership positions?
So I kind of, being here for a while and planning on being here for 1 year, I kind of have a little bit of a long list. So I am involved within the Purdue Polytechnic. I'm involved in the American Foundry Society, which is basically a society to learn a little bit more about casting and kind of mold making. So I've been involved with that for this whole year, and next year I'll actually be the secretary of the organization. So it's definitely really exciting, and you get hands-on experience with industry members, and they come and they'll demonstrate different things about the casting industry. So kind of outside of the Polytechnic, I personally still live in the residence halls. I live in First Street Towers, and I am involved there. I'm on the executive board for kind of our residence hall association. I will be the president of the organization next year. Currently, I'm involved as the Grand Prix director there as well. So that's another kind of a huge event here around campus. It's basically a go-kart race that happens every year. It's definitely really exciting, kind of shows kind of your pride for your organization. So I was the director, and I'll also be driving in this event in the upcoming Saturday. So kind of there's definitely opportunities to be involved. And especially, we got one more thing, especially new admitted students. I'm involved in Boiler Gold Rush. So that's something that's kind of upcoming that'll be in the fall. I'm a team leader for that as well. So that's something I definitely recommend. It's definitely a really fun week. So, like I said, kind of have to plug that a little bit, but it's definitely a lot of fun. So, yeah, definitely I encourage getting involved. I'm maybe involved in a little bit of a lot, but it's definitely good to get that experience working with other people from around campus, working within the Purdue Polytechnic, and just getting those contacts within industry here at Purdue. Very much a lot of networking.
Personally, I'm in Women in Technology, WIT, MTA, Minority Technology Association, and the Purdue Polytechnic Ambassadors, as well as being a member of the marching band. Just to talk a little bit about the Polytechnic organizations, they're great because they bring you together with a whole bunch of people that are of similar mind and similar interests to you. Like, we're all, like, in the Polytechnic, so we all are, like, technology geeks, but at the end of the day, like, we get to talk to each other, we get to network together, we get to learn together, and that's something that I found really rewarding in, like, the Polytechnic organizations. Being a Polytechnic ambassador, I find it very fun to try and, like, tell people why I
They get to do this, too, as ambassadors.
Yeah, it's, like, just being able to shout to the world, hey, Purdue's awesome, and, like, being okay with it, like, not being, like, overly, like, excited about it. Like, it's a fun opportunity to be able to meet people as well. In terms of the marching band, I'd say that is a very rewarding experience because, firstly, marching band is an experience that, well, I'm the first in my family to ever have, like, done anything like that, and I have gotten so many opportunities. Like, I was able to fly out to San Francisco to the bowl game that we went to last fall, and they actually flew me out to Ireland with the rest of the band, and we marched in the St. Patrick's Day Parade in Dublin. So just being in the marching band, you get insanely, like, unique opportunities that you wouldn't get in probably many other organizations on campus. So I have to plug band because I'm a band geek, but I'm just saying band is pretty lit, so.
So first things first, Boiler Gold Rush. That's something you definitely should do. I still run into my Boiler Gold Rush buddies at when I go for breakfast at Ford, lunch at Ford, wherever. But I made probably like 25 different friends during Boiler Gold Rush, so that's something I definitely recommend you do. You meet lots of people, and you won't have to worry about being lonely at Purdue, and make lots of friends. So the first big club I joined, my first semester was AITP, and it's the largest computing-based club on campus. It's awesome. And they invite Cisco, they invite Boeing, they invite all sorts of people. Professors do big events on how to model data and all sorts of stuff. And then after that, I joined Purdue Student Government, and I became a Senate Associate Member, so I helped out some of the Polytechnic senators. And then after that, I joined the Cyber Forensics Club, which I ended up leaving this semester. A lot of it was basic stuff that I already kind of got already, so it wasn't really what I was looking for. But this semester I actually became, it was actually the end of last semester, I actually got the opportunity to become a board member for AITP. And I got to be the events marketing manager, and I get to do all the cool graphics and stuff associated with AITP. So definitely lots of opportunities at Purdue. I think we have like 1,000 clubs or something like that.
Yes.
So
there's 1,000, and I think our college has anywhere 50, 60 different clubs as well.
Yep.
Okay, so this question is from Ben Wagraz, or I'm sorry if I butchered your name, please forgive me. But his question is for Maddox. He says, I'm interested in majoring in cybersecurity. What kind of experience would you recommend before starting college?
kind of experience. Okay, so what I did when I decided that I wanted to be in cybersecurity, my senior year, I actually got to meet up with a cybersecurity professional, and he told me what it was all about. So I would recommend that you just do a Google search, and there are professionals who make videos, and they'll tell you what it's about. And you'll find very quickly whether you want to do it or not. It's a lot about networking. It's a lot of networking stuff. So if you're not a big fan of networking, then cybersecurity probably isn't for you. And there's actually a lot of math that goes behind cybersecurity as well that people don't know about, like logical and or statements or Boolean algebra. That stuff is all behind cybersecurity. So I would definitely do your research. Try to reach out and network maybe to some people and see if you can grab lunch with somebody that maybe works in that industry. But definitely do your research, and Purdue has a lot of research on their website that you can look at. You can look at the course descriptions, and it will show you all of the courses for cybersecurity, for the cybersecurity path or the network engineering path, and you can see what type of courses you would like to take within that major, and you may find that that's something you want to do or not. So.
Another question, this student's in CIT, but his question I think is for all of you. Is it easy to double major or minor in Polytechnic or other schools?
So I can kind of speak. I'm a single major, but I have a minor. I'm getting a minor in organizational leadership, which is within the Purdue Polytechnic, and then I'm also getting the certificate in entrepreneurship and innovation that's in the School of Management. So basically, I would consider it really easy because a lot of the coursework with the mechanical engineering plan of study, mechanical engineering technology plan of study, there's a lot of freedom for putting classes in, and a lot of them actually double count. So you could count them for another elective, and they count towards the minor as well. So I actually picked up both the certificate in entrepreneurship and the minor organizational leadership, only having to take 5 extra classes. So I consider that pretty relatively easy.
Yeah, for me, like, as I try and pursue all of my majors, like, it's a lot of overlapping. It's a lot easier to major in, like, multi-major and, like, majors that are in the same department, because a lot of them have the same, like, kind of freshman core classes. It might get a little trickier when you want to go to, like, different colleges. Like, I know, like, trying to do a major or minor with computer science is always tricky because they have a lot of prereqs and classes like that. But it's possible to, like, you can basically, like, double, triple major in anything. It's just how long you kind of want to stay here.
So for me, my first semester, I chose cybersecurity, and I really liked all the classes. I loved them with all my heart. And second semester, I knew I wanted to go into network engineering. And it's a really popular thing here at Purdue to dual major in cybersecurity and network engineering, because adding that second major with either network engineering or cybersecurity, it only adds an extra 18 credit hours, which is awesome. It's only an extra semester, so you can knock those out over the summer. And then I'm also minoring in management, and that's through the School of Cranert. So they have a whole nother list of classes that I have to take. I think it's an extra 16 credit hours. So it really just comes down to how much work do you want to put on yourself, and do you love what you're doing.
I want to mention that if you do want to double major from 2 different colleges, you just have to meet the requirements for both colleges. But like they've mentioned, since they're double majoring within the Polytechnic, it's a lot easier because they have very similar requirements within the Polytechnic. But then minoring from other colleges, that seems to be a lot easier. Okay, another question. Can you tell us a little bit about some of your residence life experiences? And what was it like living in the residence hall, or they may call it dorms? And what opportunities did your RA have for you to get involved with on your floor?
So being in the res halls, this is my 4th year in the res halls, and I plan on spending another year in the res halls. It's something I very much recommend. It's an awesome experience. I've had great RAs throughout all the time I've been here. And there's definitely a lot of programs to be involved. So kind of outside of the RA, I've been involved obviously with my dorm's executive board and hall club. There's a lot of opportunities for leadership, especially with the National Res Hall Honorary Chapter here at Purdue. A lot of opportunity to go kind of talk to other Res Hall student leaders from around the country and get to see different opportunities through there. And then especially your RA, because your RA is also a student just like all of us. So you can definitely get experiences from them, learn about different opportunities they may have, and especially meeting other people on your floor. And there's definitely always fun events. Especially I hang out with all my Res Hall friends, especially my freshman year ones. I still hang out with them and talk to them all the time. We go grab dinner at the dining courts. It's just overall, I consider the residence halls here at Purdue a really great and positive experience.
Yeah, I'd say that my residence hall experience has been very good. I feel like it's a bit atypical because I ended up in a upperclassman dorm when most people end up in freshman dorms their first year. But being in the dorm that I was, I found it really fun. Like, I met a lot of people in my dorm, and just my RA experience was very unique. My RA is a bit of a goofball, so she posts memes all over the walls, and she got sea monkeys for like a week and then they died, but she made this big deal about the sea monkeys. It's like things like that that kind of like brighten up the halls when you just came from like a test that you might have bombed. You're like, you just like worked really hard on a project. Like, just coming back to your dorm and having like kind of like a fun environment just set up for you by your RA or just like your floor mates is something that I've come to appreciate a lot.
Yeah, I would definitely say the normal Purdue, I actually got put in an upper level a dormitory. I'm in Cary Quad West. But the normal Purdue experience in a dorm, everybody has their doors open, everybody's talking with each other. It's a great time. In Cary Quad West, that is, no one really does anything in my dorm. Everybody's very quiet. My RA is very quiet. Nothing really goes on. It's almost like a hotel. You're walking into a hotel. So it is. It's very strange. No one talks. So it's very quiet on my hall, but that's not the normal experience. Usually, like Tarkington, for example, or Cary Quad South, everyone has their doors open. Everyone's communicating. You'll make lots of friends, and all the RAs are great guys, so it's a great way to, again, make friends and get some new opportunities on your belt. So.
Okay, so let's go to the monitor. And Diego, he wants to know, this is for you, Erin. Would I need to have any experience or have any background knowledge to major in animation or game development?
Okay, so I'd say you don't have to, because a lot of the professors, I've asked them about this because I was kind of in the same situation. I asked them, do I need to know something? And they said they're teaching you as if you know absolutely nothing, but I would recommend, like, if you don't know how to draw, get on that, because there's going to be a bit of drawing, and I didn't realize that till I came here, and I didn't realize that my stick figures aren't good enough. So I'd say, like, just start drawing something, start like getting some art basics down. Like, you don't have to know everything, but maybe like expose yourself to some animation principles, or just like take a pencil and like doodle every once in a while, just so then you can get like the creative juices flowing, so when you get here and you're around other people that have been drawing since they had like they could hold a pencil, like you'll be able to do something with yours as well.
Okay. Another question Ria asks, what kind of help and resources are available on assignments?
So basically, like some of your more like kind of your general education requirements. One thing that I utilized a lot when I was in those, like my freshman, sophomore, and part of my junior year, was supplemental instruction. So it's student run, and basically they kind of gauge information here and get kind of the tougher classes that usually some students struggle with. And there's sessions that happen usually 2 to 3 times a week that's run by a student who's got an A or a B in the course, and they basically supplement the content that went on in lecture. These students attend the lecture, they take notes as if they're a student, and prepare their own lessons to kind of help students throughout the process. So for me, when I was struggling in some of the classes, kind of like calculus and chemistry, I built these into my schedule, and I would go to these sessions, and I would basically, it was awesome because I felt that I learned a lot, especially doing more review problems and kind of hearing the content from a different perspective and a different person. So personally, I use supplemental instruction is very great, and I recommend that you use it, and it's definitely for a lot of your general education requirements. A lot of the classes they're offered. And it's free. That's the best part. It's a free tutor.
If I'm being quite honest, one of like my biggest resources was Google. Like, a lot of classes, like if I'm sitting at like an odd hour, like 1 a.m, just like getting some work done, and like I can't contact my professor, then I Google it, and usually I find something somewhere. I have to dig a little bit. But usually, like, on Google, if you just look something up, like, someone else has had the same question before. Like, you're not alone in, like, whatever you're confused about. So, like, you can always just do that, or just go straight to Quizlet. Quizlet. That'll help you a lot.
Oh, yeah. I definitely agree with that last statement. Quizlet will help you so much on Purdue exams.
Yes.
So one thing I've utilized the most throughout almost my first year at Purdue is my professors' office hours. Your professors will post their office hours on the syllabus at the beginning of the year. and then you can go into their office and ask them any question you would like, especially assignments. I've definitely done that a couple of times with my networking professor on sub-networking. I had no idea what I was doing, and we had an exam in 3 days, and he walked me through subnetting, and it was great. So definitely reach out to the professors. They're here to help and help you succeed in your class.
Hopping off of that, like, office hours, not many people go to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for some reason, they always advertise going to office hours, and not many people go. So whenever, like, you try and go to office hours, usually, like, you'll be the only one with that, like, professor or TA. So, like, just go so that you can, like, even if you're not completely lost, just go so that, like, if you find something that you're possibly confused about, they'll be able to straighten out with you really quick.
And to kind of like segue a little more, kind of one other thing I thought of, there's something definitely within the Polytechnic, the best tutoring system. So that's definitely, there's a lot of good classes, and especially it's run by students who are kind of in all the various majors around the Purdue Polytechnic. So that's another thing, especially kind of talk about supplemental instructions for your general classes. But best tutoring is definitely kind of a Polytechnic in-house thing that definitely for all the different majors around, you can get students that have experienced the course and kind of give you that little extra insight. And again, it's the best, it's free.
For sure. And along with the BEST, BEST stands for Building Excellence for Students in Technology. And the way that it works is you find some upperclassman who's an academic support mentor, and that person, has taken those classes already that you're maybe struggling in. And then you send them an email, you set up a time, and it's whatever time works best for you and best for them. And then you can have that one-on-one kind of academic session or mentoring session so that they can help you, whether it's a homework or getting prepared for an exam as well. Okay, what about in the learning communities? Any of you in the learning communities and get help or assistance through that as well? Go ahead.
So
You were right. Okay.
So I was in a learning community as a freshman, and I personally enjoy it because you're placed within a residence hall with basically individuals kind of in the same interest that you are. So basically, when it comes to it, everyone kind of shares the same interest. Your RA is interested in that topic as well. So it's definitely really cool, and especially I know there's a Polytechnic Learning Community that's really cool. You get paired with other Polytechnic students, and you kind of all get to like bond together and work on cool projects. And it's definitely really cool to build that relationship kind of inside the classroom, and then also build the relationship outside the classroom as well.
If you also want space, there's learning communities that like don't live together. Like I personally, in my learning community, I didn't live with them. I feel like it would have been a lot funner if like I did. But like if you don't, like if you want space away from that, like it's understandable, and there are learning communities for that. So yeah.
And usually when you apply for the learning community, you have the option to live with your learning community or not live with your learning community. Anyway, you're still part of the learning community. And so first semester I applied, actually before first semester, I applied to be in the CIT Learning Community and to live with the learning community, but unfortunately I didn't get to live with the learning community because there wasn't enough space. But I was in the CIT Learning Community last semester, and Professor Barlow did lead that, so I got to know him even more over semester one, and I got to meet a lot of other people who are also cybersecurity majors and network engineering majors, and through that learning community we've become the best of friends, and now we're helping each other out in classes and stuff, and it's awesome. So if you have the chance, you should definitely do a learning community. You can get a lot out of it.
The nice thing about living with in the learning community, those students in that learning community are usually in the same major as you are, and so if you do have a question at midnight or at 1 o'clock in the morning and they're still up, you're more likely to get help from them because they're either have taken the class or having the same situation, so it's someone good to talk about it as well. Okay, another question. Davo, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, so again, forgive me. He has a question, and he says, any advice on how to earn honors credit to meet the honors college requirements? Any of you know anything about that?
Well, I do know, so to get into the honors college, you have to apply. It's going to be a part of your application when you do it for Purdue. If you don't decide to go to the honors college your freshman year, then you have to wait to apply again your junior year. to get into the honors college. You can't just apply right back into the honors college. You have to wait until your junior year. I think that's right.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know the answer to that,
Don't
but I
quote
do
me on that, but I'm pretty sure you have to wait until your junior year to apply again and to get into the honors college. So if you feel that you're apt to apply and you meet all the requirements, I think you definitely should. I know a lot of people in the honors college, a lot of great people there. They do a lot of great things. That's all I got to say about that. It's pretty much like another learning community.
It is, and the one thing I do want to say about the Honors College, you will have an advisor in the Honors College as well, and that advisor will be guiding you and making sure that you are filling the Honors College requirements. There are certain classes that you can take, and there are certain requirements to receive the honors diploma. So, but they will guide you through that and work with your academic advisor from the Polytechnic so that you're meeting both requirements. Caitlin Adams asks, I am majoring in cybersecurity, but this question is for all. Have any of you studied abroad, and do you feel it is easy to fit into your schedule?
So I have not studied abroad. It's something I'm kind of looking into maybe for the next year to do more of the spring break, like the spring break, or maybe some of the winter break study abroads. But I do have a lot of friends who have done semester-long study abroads, and it is really easy to fit in your schedule. There's so many different programs around campus that count for so many different credit. The opportunities are really endless within the Polytechnic and kind of around the university as a whole to study abroad. And then especially there are scholarships out there to kind of help supplement the cost of doing a study abroad. And when it comes to the credit, especially that side of it, you want to kind of stay on track. There's definitely the credit will transfer back because a lot of them kind of work Purdue and that institution work together to make sure that not only the students stay on the right path, but kind of the programs are aligning with the program you're taking here at the university.
And you don't have to go study abroad like during the semester if you don't want to. There's like tons of options. So like if it doesn't fit into like your normal school year, like you still can. Like as he mentioned, like you can do like the winter break, the spring break, trips. There's also Maymesters, which is basically the whole month of May. You just go somewhere and you get credits back. I think it's like like 6 or something.
Between 3 and 6, it depends.
Yeah, 3 and 6 credits, yeah. Like you are just basically getting credits for like taking a vacation for the whole month of May. There's also like full summer trips, I think. Like
it's usually associated with a class though.
Yeah, usually it's like there's tons of options and lots of like
let's go to England and hang out.
No, I don't think it's that easy.
Like it's I mean, I'm trying not to make it sound that easy. I just get excited about these things. Yeah. But basically like yeah, you could take a class over any period of time basically where you have a break. So don't worry, you don't have to take a semester if you don't want to or you don't have time to.
Yep. So I actually applied last semester to go to Peru to study mobile application development, and I am going to get to study abroad this summer for about 2.5 weeks in Peru. So we're going to fly down to Peru, and then we're going to fly down to Arequipa, where the college is, and then for about a week and a half, we get to do mobile application development. And then for the rest of the time there, we fly to Cusco to see Machu Picchu, which is going to be awesome. I can't wait for that. But actually, I'm getting 6 multicultural credits for going. When you study abroad for 2.5 weeks or more, I believe, you get 6 multicultural credits. You just have to write a paper. And then you get the credit for whatever class you're doing down there or classes you're doing down there. So in my case, I get the 6 multicultural credits because I'm spending 2.5 weeks in Peru. And I will also get 3 credits for mobile application development that goes towards my major. And everyone has to acquire 6 multicultural credits, I believe.
Yeah, that's part of the requirement as well.
Yeah.
But it can be done in many different ways. It could be another class that you take here, it could be some of your foreign language, or it could be an actual study abroad program. We have an amazing globalization office with the Purdue Polytechnic, and the folks there work with your advisors to make sure your everything is in sync so that you can take the classes and so that it all works together, whether it's through Maymester or a whole semester or whatever way you want to do it. Okay, let's see. We have Ben, and he says, if you're accepted into the Honors College, are you required to live inside the Honors College, or could you opt out to live with another learning community?
For sure on that.
I think you have to live.
think you
I
have to
think,
live
yeah.
in the
Yeah, you have to
honors.
live in the honors one.
Yeah.
Unless there is no space,
Yeah.
if they have too many people that take them up on it. But usually you are required to live in the honors residence hall. That's my understanding with it. But like I oversee the Women in Technology Learning Community, and I have several young women that are in the honors college, but they want to be part of our Women in Technology Learning Community as well. So what we've done with that is they're living in the honors, but they're taking the Women in Technology course, and then that way that's how they connect. So somehow it still works so that you can connect. Like I think a couple of you have mentioned you don't have to live with your learning community, and so you can take some of the courses and still live at the honors college. Okay. Any comments on that? Anyone else? All right. Let's see. Another question. What are other fun activities that students participate in campus or on campus?
So kind of some of the, definitely kind of a couple, like as I mentioned before, Purdue Grand Prix, that's definitely kind of a huge event that goes on around campus, with it being kind of a go-kart race that happens usually about the third weekend in April. It's really cool. It's definitely kind of a hands-on, kind of a Polytechnic-ish type project that you get to hands-on build a go-kart and then take that go-kart and compete against other student organizations from around campus. But kind of like other big student events, I can kind of say, so like definitely athletics are real something that I go to a lot. So men's basketball, football, women's basketball, volleyball. I love going to all sporting events because definitely boiler up. And it's very easy to get access to student tickets. You really only need your boarding pass, which is a $100 one-time fee, and you get access to all the student tickets to all the different sporting events, not limited to the ones I mentioned. Definitely there's others you can go to.
Honestly, between like those things, there's also like every dorm has activities going on. So like my dorm in particular, like my dorm, it has like a theater built into the dorm. So like every Friday they play like, it's like Feminist Fridays or something, so they play like female power movies. So I think last week was Moana, and like this week I think is Mulan or something. And like every individual dorm has like different activities. So if you miss them like in the dorms, like you won't miss them actually. If you'll have to try to miss the notifications from your dorms will want you to go to them. So like just look out for like flyers around town, around your dorm. They'll even put them in the bathrooms. Like just look for them because they're there and they're plentiful. You'll never be bored. So
I think one of the best places to go for fun and activity is the co-rec. The co-rec has some awesome places to play. They have racquetball courts. You can set up volleyball. There's basketball. There's swimming. There's a hot tub. There's a sauna, I think.
yes, there's like 2 saunas.
There's all sorts of stuff at the co-rec. And it's a great place to go, get active, hang out with your friends so you avoid the freshman 15, unlike me. So it's a great place to go. And just touching up on some of these comments, that a lot of stuff will go on at your dorms. At Carrot Quad, I know there's like a theater night Thursday or something like that, and they'll play a movie every Thursday, which is super awesome. So,
Do you ever slide down Slater Hill?
Yes, that is one of my favorite activities to do in the winter. And definitely being kind of, on the other hand, that's kind of a hands-on Polytechnic project too, especially creating your sled for the winter. So definitely you have to use what limited resources kind of make the best sled you can. And kind of like segueing kind of off of that, segueing on what Maddox said, especially about like kind of the co-rec, doing intramural leagues. So IM leagues is definitely a really good way to get involved, especially when it comes to sports. I have done I think there's over 30 different sports you can do. So I've done bowling, disc golf, and softball. And it's definitely a lot of fun, and you can join a team. That's another great way to network with people. Join teams, have fun playing a sport, even if it's a sport you're learning for the first time. There's various tiers, so you can have like a beginner, advanced, so you're not out there necessarily with people who was sort of better at the sport, so you're not really intimidated, but that's definitely another way to get involved. Yeah.
Also, there's I feel like everybody like will advertise this, like, but there's also fountain runs when it's like the summertime. In the summertime, like I want to say there's like 4 or 5 fountains on campus, and basically there's like a route. You start at one fountain, you run all the way around campus, and you hop in like some fountains, then run into another one, and then drink out of another one. Like it's really fun. It gets your steps in, and it'll tire you out, but I think you end in one that's literally just like a little like wading pool. So it's really fun if you want to get like wet and like have like your nice like pool vibes but not walk all the way to the co-rec, then you could just like run into a fountain after class. Like, it works.
Okay. Have any of you done the zombies versus the whatever, the shooting and
I did it one year and I lasted about 25 seconds.
Okay.
And that was about it.
Anyway, there's a lot of things to do on campus, a lot of things to get involved with, and it is. They have fun. Okay, another question. Can you tell us about your internship or real world work experiences? Maybe tell them a little bit about the process on how you get an internship. I know a couple of you are freshmen, so just starting out, but yeah, explain the process on how you get an internship.
So kind of when it comes to the process is definitely kind of going to I'd say first step kind of researching, kind of figure out what industry or kind of what type of industry you want to go into. It's kind of personally, I kind of want to go like the power sports automotive industry. So I kind of made a list of companies that I wanted to apply to. And then once usually when it comes time for the career fair, such as the Polytechnic Career Fair, Industrial Roundtable, and kind of various major specific ones, a list is usually released with all the different companies that are attending. So you can kind of get a feel for the companies that are attending, what positions they're looking for, and get an idea of where they're located, and kind of see if they're for you. So once you go to the career fair, you network with a company recruiter, give them your resume, kind of talk about a little things, and then definitely apply. Definitely go online, apply to different positions, apply at different places, and just make sure you the one thing, just keep apply. Because the more you apply, the more chances you have of getting interviews and kind of getting different companies around the industry. So definitely don't be discouraged when some of your other companies do not accept you, but definitely just keep going with it. And that's kind of how I got my internship, just kept applying, and finally a bunch of things turned up. So.
A big factor in me getting my internship was using the Career Center. I went to the Career Opportunity Center, honestly, so many times. I went so many times that, I managed to get the same guy. He knew me my name, and I had a schedule. He's one time I came in, he's like, yeah, I was expecting you. So, honestly, you don't have to go in that many times, but you should probably, go in there, at the very least, just to get your resume checked. Because they have, free resume, checks. Yeah, that's the word. Yeah, and they basically just they look over your resume and they tell you what's wrong, what you should fix, help you figure out what you should add, and then afterwards they give you this nifty little book. And when you're at home just doing the same thing, it's basically everything that they told you and more. So at least for resume building, that's an essential. That was a must, and that helped me a lot because I didn't have a resume when I came here. So yeah.
So I haven't landed an internship yet, but I have landed a couple interviews and hopefully another interview next week. But the number one thing you need to prioritize right now is getting your resume ready. That is the number one thing you need to do. And Purdue has lots of help for getting that all nice and tidied up. The CCO does a great job. They have a whole booklet online that you can follow about how to critique your resume and how to make it better. And then step 2 is to go to the career fairs. There are so many companies. I think the Roundtable has 1,000 companies or something like that.
No, the Roundtable, 300 to 400 different
300 to
companies.
400.
Maybe a little bit.
Maybe overestimated just a little bit.
It feels like that many when you're walking.
It does. It's huge.
It is pretty
It's
huge. You're right, and
absolutely
it is
huge.
over 2 days, and so some companies come the first day, and some companies come
Yeah.
the second day. So there could be maybe 400 or
Yeah.
500 companies, but at one time there's probably 300 or 400.
And, yeah, definitely in the ones, especially the Purdue Polytechnic ones. So I know especially there's the Purdue Polytechnic Career Fair that happens in February usually every year, and then I know how you mentioned, especially the computing, ATIP puts on one, and then the Building Construction Management Career Fair. That's one of the big ones because they have more companies than there are students recruiting for jobs. So definitely there's opportunities within the Polytechnic and within each individual major for getting jobs. And then one thing how I figured out about a lot of jobs too was the advisors email you about opportunities that they get in, about that they do, and they're also your best friend too when you're helping you look. Maybe they'll get a line, someone emails them for a position, they'll email that out to everyone and say such and such company is looking for a mechanical engineering technologist, here's who you send your resume to, and that's very helpful as well. So.
Yeah, I think all the different departments in the college have a career fair because aviation has their own career fair, construction management, the computing roundtable.
CIT is doing
that's
one.
the computer roundtable, and then
Yeah.
CNIT. Then there's the industrial roundtable. The college has a career fair. So management has a career fair. There's lots of different career career fairs. Actually, today is the just-in-time career fair
Tomorrow.
as well. Is it
Tomorrow. It's
You're
tomorrow.
right, it's tomorrow. So, and that's if, you've been so busy, you forgot to go to those other career fairs. You have one just in time for students that are about to graduate, or it's getting close to summer and you haven't gotten an internship, so you go to the just-in-time career fair as well. And then the college has, I think, a Tech Connect portal where you can look and find internship opportunities as well. And so there's, lots of opportunities for internships for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I just heard, or I just got sent that there's only 5 minutes left. So if you have any last minute questions, please ask them. I'm going to ask one more here. Do you have any recommendations on how incoming students can get involved, or maybe any something that they haven't asked, or something you would really want to tell them that they should know that you wish you knew?
Yeah, I'd say follow the food, because every call out in the fall and even in the spring, they have free food everywhere. You can get free dinner for a good week and a half. So honestly, just like follow where you find the foods at, and you might find a club that you might actually be interested in. So
Definitely segueing off that, especially like getting involved is probably my number one recommendation, because especially if you choose to do Boiler Gold Rush when you come here for your freshman orientation and your time transitioning to Purdue, there's the Be Involved Fair, which has a majority of the clubs around campus set up tables and kind of as a recruitment setting, so you can talk to other students who are in those clubs. They can tell you a little bit about what they do, and especially the big thing is just don't be afraid to kind of venture out, try new things. You're in such a diverse and great community here at Purdue that there's so many opportunities to really kind of do anything. So just venturing out, step out, try something new, and just kind of create a lasting legacy here.
The number one thing you can do to start getting involved at Purdue University is go to BGR. You will meet so many new people. It's unbelievable how many new people you will meet, and what types of connections you can make, and where those connections can take you at Purdue. So definitely go to BGR. And I think during BGR, like you said, there is like the club call-out thing. So they have all of the clubs. So you get to check out all the clubs that you may be interested in. So if you're interested in cybersecurity, there's so many different forensics clubs, cyber forensics clubs. It's unbelievable. There's programming clubs, there's drone clubs, there's all sorts of clubs. So definitely do that. So BGR, join clubs. That's your number one way.
I'm going to put a plug in for Tech Week, Welcome Week. We have that in the Polytechnic, which is a really good way to know what the Polytechnic offers, and it's usually the first week of classes. You'll also get your own I'm a Techie shirt, the new version for 2018. It'll come out the first week of classes, and so definitely come and participate in Tech Week or our Welcome Week
and
as
free
well.
donuts.
You get
Techie Tuesdays.
That's right.
Don't forget about that.
Exactly. For sure. Anything else you guys want to add?
I'm good.
Okay. What do you like best about the college? Anything you want to say?
I love the atmosphere. Love the love the students that I work with on a daily basis. Love the faculty that I see on a daily basis as well, and just the overall atmosphere, especially kind of combines everything we've said before. Kind of loving the hands-on, the lab settings, and just kind of everything. Because the first part of it is loving what you do, and I love what I do. I love the people I do it with, and I just overall really have a good time. So I think that's like the best part.
Yeah.
I love how the Polytechnic really works towards like making a family unit of the college, like between just like giving out all the t-shirts and like the Techie Tuesdays and just like everything. Like it feels like when you're in the Polytechnic, like you're in a group. Like I don't know how other colleges work, but like in the Polytechnic, I feel like when I see another Polytechnic person on the street, I'm like, hey, like we're just like connected through like a like invisible, like I don't know, it's like just like it's like a nice little bond that like you automatically have with just Polytechnic people just because we're like close-knit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Very much. I agree with that.
Yeah, definitely. I think just the number one thing I love about Polytech is all the people that are involved in the School of Polytechnic. It's such a diverse environment at Purdue. You get to meet people from all over the place, and that is the coolest thing to me. Especially just working with just different people every day, one-on-one. it's a really cool experience you get to have. So.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for being on the panel today. And guess what? This wraps it up, folks. I want to thank you and thank everyone who joined us and submitted questions. Hopefully you got a better understanding about the Polytechnic and what it's like to be a student. This broadcast is can be viewed as well. You'll be able to watch it again by following the same link that you clicked on to watch it, later on, or if you're not sure what we said, you definitely do that. Feel free to reach out again if you have any additional questions by sending an email to techrecruit@purdue.edu, and you can also find all the broadcasts on our website. Thank you for being with us and spending some time with us, and have a great night, and boiler up.
Boiler up.
Boiler up.
Boiler up.